If I what can I do next to you?
To get me down. I turn on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, where music stays cool, but not as cool as this rat that's burrowed into my coffin. Boy, boy, boy.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to the Morning Buzz right here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm your host, Jonathan Kaplan, and welcome to the show. Coming up, we will be. Oh, sorry, I am not alone. Actually, time and date. It is 9:04, almost 9:05 on this Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. And who am I joined by?
I'm your other host, Pedro Chapolin Baez, and in today's show, we will be discussing earthquakes, heat waves, curfews, and the World Cup.
Yes.
But
Oh, sorry. You go.
before we get into our top stories for the day, here is Mackenzie Cochran for your WMSC news update.
Thank you for the introduction. For our top story, Iran threatens to extend conflict beyond the Middle East if the United States of America and Israel resume attacks. Trump had earlier threatened further military action against Iran, saying the country had 2 or 3 days, or perhaps until Sunday or early next week, to come to the negotiating table. Although J.D. Vance said, "This is not a forever war. We are going to take care of business and come home." In Montclair news, the YMCA of Montclair is hosting their 43rd annual Montclair Run, featuring a 10K race and 2-mile fun run slash walk on Sunday, June 7th. All proceeds benefit the YMCA's Community Health Program Fund. In New Jersey news, Stop and Shop is cutting the prices of thousands of items at 46 stores across New Jersey in late May as part of a push to lure inflation-wary customers. They plan to reinvigorate sales and pull in customers. In the national news, concerts are being canceled all over the United States of America. Popular artists like Meghan Trainor and Zayn are canceling their tours due to expensive ticket prices. For our sports scores, the New York Knicks beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in a big comeback win with a score of 115 to 104 in the first game of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. The Buffalo Sabres also beat the Montreal Canadiens with a score of 8 to 3, forcing a Game 7 in the second round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Aaron Ray won the 2026 PGA Championship at Aronimink Golf Club. The English golfer shot a final round 5 under 65 to finish at 9 par overall, securing his first major title and winning by 3 strokes. Heading into the traffic, there was a crash on New Jersey 3 westbound at Main Avenue, Clifton. The one right lane of 3 lanes are closed, and there's also New Jersey transit delays with the New Jersey Coast Rail Line. Moving on to the weather, it is currently 80 degrees and sunny. There's partly cloudy conditions expected around 3 p.m. and wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. The high for today is 91 degrees and the low for today is 65 degrees. This has been your WMSC News Report.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. And you know what? Let's get into our first story for this morning. There's actually a small earthquake in New Jersey yesterday. 1.8 magnitude earthquake hit Somerset County yesterday. It took place around 12:30 p.m., 3 miles west of Gladstone. This isn't the first earthquake that New Jersey has experienced in recent years. There was a 3.0 magnitude earthquake last summer that hit the state, and I'm sure we all remember that 4.8 magnitude earthquake that was actually felt up and down the East Coast in April 2024. These quakes are caused by the Ramapo fault line, which runs through North and Central Jersey. Did anyone feel the earthquake yesterday? Does anyone live up in Somerset County? It was very small, so
No.
No.
yeah. Me neither. Jordan?
Oh no, I didn't feel anything either.
Yeah. But I feel like we all remember, I think especially the one in 2024, right? I mean, I remember not.
I remember that one,
Yeah. No,
but I wasn't present for that. I was in Florida,
oh wow.
which was funny because I was on Snapchat and everyone was posting on their stories. They're like, "Oh, we just got hit with an earthquake." And I'm like, the one time I'm not in Jersey, we get an earthquake.
Yeah. I remember I was walking from the School of Business to what is now CCOM, then it was the School of Communication and Media. Um, and I didn't feel a thing. And then I get like a notification on my phone, and this was back when Nino Danino was our news director, and he was like, "Oh, we have to go on air and report this." So it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
That
I
is really
think
funny.
yeah, I think I took a nap and slept through the earthquake.
Yesterday?
No, not this one.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
the one in 2024.
2024, yeah. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, the
Jordan,
same. I actually slept through it as well.
hmm
And I didn't know that there was even an earthquake until I woke up and my mom was like, "Oh, do you know it was earthquake?" I was like, "What?" So yeah, that was kind of funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have, are there any other like earthquakes that you remember? I remember when I was like very, very young, there was an earthquake. I was so young I didn't know what an earthquake was. So this was like my first exposure to the concept. And I remember like feeling the house shake. I was at home and was like, is like the house unstable or something? Like why else would it be shaking like that? Obviously, I know that it was the ground shaking now, but
hmm
does anyone else have any other earthquake stories they remember?
I can't say that I have.
Okay.
It's
Mackenzie?
like way back. Yeah, I remember that when I was really young. It's probably the same earthquake that you're
Yeah, I
talking
think
about.
it was like in August or I forget what year.
Yeah,
It was like in August. of
Yeah, I
some
remember
year.
that. But I was just so mad. I wish I was in Jersey to experience the last earthquake because it
I
never really happens here. So I'm just
yeah.
sad.
I remember shortly after the big one in 2024, I did feel there was an aftershock like the next day at like 6 or something. So, I remember that as well and feeling that. I'm like, "Oh, that was an aftershock, definitely." And then I saw on the news a few minutes later like, "Yep, that was it. I wasn't making that up."
What's an aftershock?
That is sometimes like when there's like a big earthquake, you there might be some slightly smaller quakes that might occur as a result of that. It's like the basic concept of that. They're usually not as strong as like the initial one, but uh, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why. There's some scientific reason why. Uh, but I just know that they can happen. Uh,
Did you feel it in 2024?
I felt the aftershock. I didn't feel I was walking, so I don't know how that affected me, but I didn't feel the initial one, but I felt the aftershock
Hmm.
that
So what is that like when you feel an aftershock?
it's basically like an earthquake,
Okay.
but smaller usually.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Did you end up falling or were you okay?
No, I was
Yeah, you were
fine.
fine.
I was fine.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, didn't fall, none of that. Yeah. Did anyone else have anything for this? Do we want to move on? We can move on.
We can
If
move on.
all right. Um, Pedro, you have weather. Speaking of science,
Hmm.
we have something weather related, and it's been very hot out.
Yes,
So you want to
so
talk about that?
yeah, so some New Jersey schools adjusting schedule due to heat waves. Several New Jersey districts announced early dismissal or half day due to extreme heat, including Wayne, Hamilton, Winslow, and Prospect Park. Union Public Schools are canceling all after-school activities, sports, and events due to the dangerous heat, and expect thunderstorms later in the week that could finally bring some relief from the heat wave.
Um, yeah. It's been very hot. How have you guys been kind of surviving this heat? Is
Water. So
water?
much
Yes.
water. I
Plenty.
actually ran yesterday in the 88-degree weather,
I'm
which is
sorry, you
not.
did what?
I ran. It was so hot outside. I put sunscreen on. Maybe this is my way to like catch a tan, but I was going
Maybe.
for a 6 mile run and it was so hot, so I only did 4 miles.
You
But it was
only four? You mean
yeah, it's a track runner in me. But yeah, it was
okay.
so hot, so I had to go back. I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I ran after Buzz, so it
Mm.
was 88. So it didn't hit the high of 95, but 88 and sunny is so hot. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, trying to stay inside as much as possible.
And I wish that like because it's still before Memorial Day, so a lot of beaches and pools aren't quite open yet, and especially not during the week because school's still in session. Um, I know in my town, I'm pretty sure like our community pool is like Memorial Day till like the 20th or so of June. I guess that would basically be like the actual start of summer.
Hmm.
Um, but that just so happens to be when my district usually um, lets out for summer vacation as well. Up until around then, they're only open on weekends. And then after that, I think it's probably until Labor Day, I assume. Uh, they're open every day. So Does anyone have like a pool or a beach or anything that they can go to and on the crew?
Yeah, so several of my friends have already started to go out in the Jersey Shore
Hmm.
and trying to catch a tan over there too.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not allowed to swim because lifeguards aren't there yet.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
No lifeguards on duty.
It's
Um,
so crazy because my friends went to the beach yesterday and they were saying how it was cold on the beach. And I'm like, what? It's super hot here in South Jersey and also in North Jersey, but by the beach, it's still windy. And the water's still
yeah.
cold in May.
Usually it is cooler by the shoreline.
Hmm.
Um, because again, science, I guess the water blows cool air. So, if you're close to the beach, it's supposed to be cooler, although I I don't necessarily live near like the ocean. I live like on the Raritan Bay.
Hmm.
Um, it was still pretty hot yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's just me. That's just where I am, but I'm not just saying that to invalidate anyone who's like, "Oh, it was nice and cool yesterday." It's just that was me. That was
No, it's
my
not. I just think it's funny how every year it's always rainy for Memorial Day weekend. Like it's
Mm,
just a common fact.
Hmm.
And this year, I feel like Memorial Day weekend's earlier. Like I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, it's next weekend. Like, no, it's actually this weekend. So
Hmm.
it's kind of
yeah.
like throwing me off. But
It's
like,
sneaking up on me. I have a countdown on my laptop to I forget if it's Memorial Day weekend or Memorial Day itself. It's 3 days, so math is I guess it's Memorial Day weekend. I have it as summer starts kinda, because people call Memorial Day weekend the unofficial start of summer, because again, that's when usually the lifeguards start being staffed and all that. So, um, I have that countdown
that is
on my
true.
laptop.
Yeah, after feeling all this heat, it makes me think that I'm glad that these schools are also getting early dismissal.
Yes, because especially since a lot of them I know don't have AC
Hmm.
or have very poor AC, that can't really handle the load that is needed, or like because it's so hot, right?
Yeah.
Like it's probably rated for like a up to a certain amount. Because when you're building a building, back in whenever those buildings were built, you're probably not expecting it to regularly get up to 90 degrees in New Jersey at that time because, spoiler, climate change is a thing. It gets hotter. It's been getting hotter. That's been the general trend. And so now it's like when it's 90 degrees, how are you, if it's uncomfortable, it's difficult to learn, and at that point, it's like, why are you even there? It's also unsafe because obviously you could get heat stroke and stuff, heat exhaustion, all that not so fun stuff.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah, when you guys were in high school, how was the AC?
I remember it not being that great. It was there.
Hmm.
I remember it not being that great. Especially like later in the year when it was like May, June, like we were almost out for some. Although I forgot, I did do their summer school program every year. I was there, so not a pun. It wasn't a punishment. It was just like extra time, because I needed that. But yeah. So like during the summers, it was very, very bad.
What about you guys, Jordan, Mac?
Um, yeah, I definitely noticed it because I had to go run an errand yesterday, and it was it was very, very hot. And I think for me, I didn't really expect it because like it kind of like before the weather was kind of like shifting. Like first it was like the weather was just all over the place, but now I think that now that we're getting closer, and you guys said to Memorial Day weekend, we're gonna start to see more like constant weather. So I'm definitely gonna be more prepared for that weather as June comes in.
No, definitely. Ooh, hello.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, today's the last day of all this 90-degree weather.
Yeah, it's supposed to like drop like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like tomorrow or like overnight, right? So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we're getting 60-degree weather this
Yeah,
weekend.
it's gonna finally feel like May in May, not June. Um anyway. I do like the summer though. Oh, I'm sorry, Mackenzie.
It's always raining in May, I feel like. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know how it's like April showers bring May flowers?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
no, it's May showers bring June flowers. It rains way more in May than it does in April every year, and I just don't get why it rains Memorial Day weekend every year. You think one year we would have off? No, every year.
Mm,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't remember enjoying the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. To be honest, Memorial Day weekend, I liked it because it marks the beginning of like the season, kind of. Um, but I feel like trying to do something on Memorial Day weekend is a pain because everything is crowded. No matter anything you want to do is probably going to be crowded. If I want to go to Six Flags this weekend. It was bad last week when I was, or this previous weekend when I was there. It's probably going to be worse, like more crowded, because oh, it's Memorial Day. We should go. um, I remember, I think when I was very young, we tried going to Hershey on Memorial Day, Hershey Park on Memorial Day weekend. That wasn't, I don't remember that being particularly great.
Yeah, very crowded.
Yeah. I know I'm talking about theme parks, but that also applies to like beaches and stuff. Obviously. I mean, I think it probably more so beaches than theme parks.
Yeah,
Oh
if
yeah, for
people aren't
sure.
going to the beach, they're definitely going to Six Flags, especially since this is also 40 minutes from Belmar.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so
something like
close.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But nevertheless, I'm glad that these schools are adjusting their schedules due to the heat wave.
yeah. Is it classified as a heat wave? Was it 90 on Monday? Does anyone know if it was 90 on Monday?
Yeah, it was really hot on Monday, so
All
yeah, it is.
right, so we might be in an actual heat wave then, because the definition for a heat wave in New Jersey is 3 consecutive days of
Hmm.
at least 90. So,
Yeah.
Yep, heat
if
wave.
we had a night, if it was 90 or above as the high temperature on Monday, then that would have been a heat wave at this point.
Yeah, and for those who are dorming, we're doing summer housing
Yeah.
here at Montclair State. If you're dorming either in Freeman or in, was it Bone?
Bone. I believe the
Those two
only
don't have
building that's
ACs.
open, or the only place that's open, is the village,
Oh,
though.
okay,
But
okay.
yes, if it was during the semester, and you were dorming in Friedman or Bone, there's no AC, right?
No, no
Yeah.
AC.
So, thankfully, I'm pretty sure those buildings are vacated by now.
Hmm.
Uh, Village, I assume would have AC. It's supposed to be like the nicest dorms on campus because they're apartments.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh, so, uh, yeah.
Yeah, hope those students over there are doing fine.
Hopefully your AC is working, whether you're in the village or if you're at home or wherever you're at, listening to us on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. We're gonna, are we good?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're good.
Okay, we're gonna go on a quick little break. When we come back, we will be discussing a curfew in Long Branch and four national teams. We'll be talking about the World Cup and something going on at the Jersey Shore. So we will be on a short break. We'll be right back.
WMSC, where music stays cool.
To the Motivation Mix. Here we practice positivity and teach you tricks to becoming a better you. Tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 to hear me and my guests talk love, happiness, and success here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair.
Good morning. My name is Mackenzie Cochran, and this is your regular traffic and weather update. Heading into the traffic, there's delays on New Jersey 3 westbound from west of New Jersey 17 at Rutherford to east of Passaic Avenue, Clifton. All lanes are open. Moving on to the weather, it's currently 82 degrees and sunny. Partly cloudy conditions are expected around 4 p.m. and wind gusts are up to 15 miles per hour. The high for today is 91 degrees and the low for today is 67 degrees. This has been your WMSC traffic and weather update.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit stoptextsstopwrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Morning Buzz right here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Kaplan, and welcome back to the show. Let's move on to our next story about an incident that happened in Long Branch. A large crowd took over the Pier Village section of Long Branch last night. The incident forced the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office to put a curfew into effect in the area. The curfew started around 9 p.m. last night. It is unclear if there were any injuries due to this incident, but it's not even Memorial Day, as we've said. And this stuff like this has been happening down the shore a lot, I've noticed in recent years, where I guess people probably, they're saying like teenagers mostly will like I guess coordinate and like overcrowd a boardwalk or something. So I don't know if anyone has heard of that happening, but thoughts?
Common for so long. I remember like when I was in high school, for me, like people would go crash Ocean City and Wildwood. Those are like
Mm,
the popular beaches near me. And people would bring like backpacks and bring speakers in them. And I know Wildwood specifically, like they're trying to crack down on that. So after 8 p.m., they're saying like no backpacks to like avoid that. And also like they're closing the beach so no one can go on the beach past 8 p.m. But those are so popular, and it's interesting to see them try to recreate that in the other New Jersey beaches. But if they're closed down, the ones that I go to, they're gonna be closed down everywhere.
yeah. Um, sorry. Sorry. Thinking. Yeah, I mean, Pedro, have you heard of any of these sorts of incidents? Have you maybe experienced any? I haven't experienced any, but
As someone who lives pretty close to the Jersey Shore, I always notice that there are a lot of high schoolers going into
Mhm.
LBI
yeah.
or Seaside Heights too.
Yeah. Okay. But it's not usually for what you've seen, it's not they're just minding their own business. Like it's not like huge crowds that like overcrowd the boardwalk, right?
No, usually
Okay.
I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
Usually I don't, but
Yeah, I know I said like it's mainly teenagers doing this. I will put a caveat on that I'm not saying every teenager in New Jersey is doing this or every teenager down the Jersey Shore. It's like a couple of bad apples um that are kind of ruining it for everyone, I feel, in a way. Because like if you had plans to go to Long Branch last night, and you're now like your plans are canceled because there's like a huge crowd of people that the local police or whatever they weren't ready for. So like obviously like if there's like a planned event, that's one thing. If it's like a couple people on social media being like, "Oh, we'll do this at this point." I don't know. It's like it's different,
yeah,
right?
this is very unfortunate to local businesses as well.
Yes. Jordan, thoughts?
Yeah, personally, I have never had this happen to me, but I could um understand like enforcing curfews because I do know that here where I live in Essex County, a lot of curfews are starting to be like enforced for
Mm,
like people like under 17.
yeah.
Um, and I feel like that's really important, for not only, their safety, but also to avoid any incidents, happening.
Mm.
So I can understand why they would, enforce that curfew in Monmouth County.
I know in Newark specifically, I saw a story a few years ago where they were putting in like a curfew for like people. It was either under 17 or under 18, like
Yeah.
teenagers, right? Is that like mainly, do you know if that's like a summer thing or is that like a year-round thing? I don't know if you would know.
Um, I'm not necessarily sure.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
But I also occasionally hear stories like that too, where there are curfews in
Yeah.
certain
I
locations.
I remember my town put in a curfew for Halloween specifically, because I guess we want the kids back home by 8. Maybe like as an adult, 8 feels early. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. But if you think about it, like it's also dark by 8
Yeah.
in October.
Mm-hmm.
So I get why they're thinking that. And typically people go trick-or-treating like at 4 the latest. So that's already 4 hours of trick-or-treating, which is a long
Yeah.
time. Some people go as early as like 2.
Yeah, that's crazy too. I guess if school's out early, because I know my school let out early on Halloween. I guess
Yeah.
that's that you could do that, right? And I guess get it in before that 8 o'clock curfew. Happy summer. Let's talk about Halloween. Woo!
Is this how long does it say how long the curfew?
Lasted. I
Is
don't.
it just yesterday or
I don't believe it says anything about when it ended. Um. Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't see anything about when it ended, but and I don't see also anything about if this will extend to tonight as a precaution. So I know sometimes if something happens, like they'll do something not because they think there's like a threat of anything, but just in case something happens.
right?
Uh yeah.
Yeah, this is I've never heard anything like this happen a
Hmm.
little bit before Memorial Day
Yeah.
weekend. So I guess that's something to keep an eye out
Yeah.
moving into this weekend.
Yeah, just something to be aware of. I don't think it's worth being scared of necessarily, because most of the time something like this won't happen. But
Mhm.
I think it's good to be aware that it could happen and to just be aware and maybe make a contingency plan for um if like something happens, uh this is plan B or whatever. And yeah, I think I think generally it's good to be aware of your surroundings and uh, be willing to make a judgment call based on that, right?
Yeah, are you guys also going to the beach this weekend?
Well, it's funny. I'm heading towards that area tomorrow, and then
Mm.
I'm driving home Friday, which I'm low key. Actually, no, because if I drive home Friday, they're driving up Friday, so I'm missing out the traffic. But I want
Mm.
to come back on like Tuesday, and I think that's gonna be kind of hard. Or if I come back Monday, I'm trying to avoid Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
Our
no, that's
the
good.
timing is just really bad of when I need to get up there and back. So I'm just afraid that when I drive up there, wait, no, because technically, if I drive up there, just drive it back. Okay, I'm safe. I'm safe. But basically, I want to be in the area, but not for Memorial Day weekend. I'm trying to avoid
Mhm.
all the people.
Hmm.
That's my goal.
Jordan, do you have any plans for Memorial Day?
Yeah, I'll be out with family. We're supposed to have a cookout actually, so
Oh, cool.
that'll be fun. Yeah,
That sounds fun.
yeah.
I currently don't have plans, Pedro. Did you say? I'm sorry if you did.
Depending on the weather, might go to the beach.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel the same way.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be back next week to tell all of our stories of what happened on Memorial Day. But before we can get into that, let's get into our next and final story. Pedro,
Yes.
what's going on with the World Cup?
Yes, so 4 national teams are set to train in New Jersey during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The 4 national teams include Brazil, Haiti, Morocco, and Senegal, which have all selected team-based camp locations across the state, making New Jersey one of the most chosen hosts in North America. Base camps include Columbia Park Training Center in Morris Township for Brazil, Stockton University in Galloway for Haiti, and Pringry School in Basking Ridge for Morocco, and Rutgers University in Piscataway for Senegal. The committee expect this to bring tourism, hotel stays, local business activity, and community engagement beyond match days.
Hmm. And I see there's a note that Brazil is scheduled to play Morocco at MetLife on
June 13th.
June 13th. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I got a little nervous when I saw World Cup and train in the same headline. Like, oh no, what's happening with the trains? But no, it's a different definition of train. It's the verb, not the noun. Uh, this is good. I like this.
Yeah, it's nice to see that a lot of national teams have chosen New Jersey.
Yeah.
I wonder, are their practices open? Could people watch
Hmm.
them?
That I don't know. Pedro, do you know?
I
Did
don't
it
know for
say?
sure, but the fact that they're expecting tourism
But just
kind
that they're
of,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense also if the teams are playing at MetLife or I'm sorry, New York, New Jersey Stadium. Dumb name. It's not even because New York comes first. It's just so generic.
I just think it's
Um,
funny because it's two states and it's only held
mhm.
in New York, New Jersey. But they're like,
Yeah.
oh, New York, New Jersey City. I'm like, no, there's no New York in this.
The thing is that MetLife Stadium is like serves as the main football stadium of the New York Metro, New York City
Yes,
Metro. So
yes.
that's why you have the New York Giants and the New York Jets that play there.
Yeah.
Really, at least one of them I think should be assigned as New Jersey. Why do we need two New York teams? I mean, it's only New York. How, you know, does the big city really need two NFL teams? Anyway,
I would
it's
say
just
yes
me.
if it's in different locations, but it's in the same
Yeah.
location. It's
Same
still
location, and it's not even in the city or the state,
it's
Mhm.
New
so
York.
weird.
But what am
Yeah.
I what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Right?
correct me if I'm wrong, but is MetLife Stadium the only stadium with this situation?
With what situation?
With, having a different state being in front.
I couldn't say that off the top of my head, but probably, because what other metros, like maybe, uh, there's like a chance that if there's a Cincinnati, I'm thinking like, because Cincinnati's like right on the border of Kentucky,
Mm.
but I don't know that for sure. Mackenzie, you're a sports comm major.
Did you say Cincinnati is on the border of Kentucky?
Yeah,
Do you know what state Cincinnati's in?
Ohio, but it's like right along the border.
Oh, Kentucky?
Really?
Yeah, it's like right on
Mm.
the I know for sure I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the airport for Cincinnati is in Kentucky. So
Yeah,
like
you're right.
that's like a similar kind of, it's not sports related, but it's a similar situation where the thing that's assigned to the city is neither in the city or the state that the city is in.
Well, I'm
So
thinking of another team. I'm thinking of the Washington Commanders. Because when you think of Washington Commanders, you think
Yeah.
of, like Washington D.C.
Washington, D.C. They're what, Maryland, I think?
Yeah, their stadium's in Maryland. It's in
Mhm.
Summerfield, Maryland.
Yeah.
Exactly, like
Yeah. But I mean, also, though, Washington, D.C. is like a very small district and it's not attached to a state. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. That's how that is. Do you know if there, I'm sorry, Mackenzie, for asking you about where sports stadiums are. Are there any like stadiums that are physically located in the district, Washington, D.C.? Like
The Washington
proper?
D.C. district.
Yeah. Do you know that for
Well,
sure?
what about the Washington Capitals?
What what's the name of their stadium? I'm sorry, all of like the sports people are
They
yelling at me
play.
right now.
They play at Capital One Arena
Capital One,
in Washington D.C. So they actually play in Washington
they're
D.C.
in DC proper. Okay.
Yes.
So it's just something with football stadiums, I guess, that can't be in the actual cities because
It's hard because you
yeah.
have big outdoor space. A
Yeah.
lot of the places are like indoors. Like you think of like Boston, you think of like TD Garden, and then you think of
Hmm.
like Madison Square Garden in New York City. Like you can have these indoor spaces. It's
Yeah.
just so hard to have an outdoor space.
Does New York have any other than MetLife? Is there anything else that's not in the city or like the five boroughs? I don't believe so.
Well, you
Um,
have their soccer team, the Red Bulls.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's in New Jersey too, right? That's like in
That's New
Yes.
Harrison.
Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think I know where that is because I pass it when I go on the Northeast corridor. Uh
Yes.
on the
Mhm.
train, I see it.
And then you also have the Kansas City Chiefs. They play in Kansas City, Missouri. It's
Yeah.
funny, there's a
That's
Kansas
a
City in Kansas, but the
yeah,
bigger
can
one is Kansas City, Missouri.
yeah, Kansas City is weird. Because it's essentially the bigger Kansas City. They like border each other, right? They're basically the same city.
Yeah.
Or they might have different mayors probably, but or
Yeah.
like governments. Um but you have Kansas City, Missouri, bordering Kansas City, Kansas, and I'm sure that has never caused any confusion in that region.
Yeah.
Um
And another thing where I could see tourism and hotel stays and local business activity being, very popularized is
mhm.
imagine accidentally bumping into your favorite national soccer player,
Oh, cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
right? Like imagine you see Neymar right next to you, checking
Mm,
in
That's so
line,
cool.
you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, uh, yeah. Any other final thoughts?
I feel like people are definitely gonna go see them practice. Because
Hmm.
like when I think of NHL, like you can go to like a Flyers practice or an Islanders or a Rangers practice for free. Like people can just walk in
Yeah.
to like their practice facility. Soccer, like you're playing outside, and I know this soccer field at Stockton really, really well. So I feel like people can go and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm sure we will talk way more about the World Cup as it approaches. But for now, Jordan, do you have your segment ready?
Yep, I have it ready.
All right. You ready to, all right, let's go then.
So hi everyone. I am have another story for the Reddit rabbit hole. If you don't know what that is, it's basically I find a story that I think that is interesting or can be relatable. And today, I have a little bit of a funny story. It's positioned as a scary story, but it's actually the author does say that it's kind of a funny one. So,
Okay.
the name of it is the time I almost got adopted by a random family out in the sticks.
The
So,
sticks?
yeah,
I'm
I don't know
sorry.
if they meant the woods, but yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
But so let's start. So back in 2015, I was working for a lawn care company that would regularly send me to to blink and you miss it towns that were 1 to 2 hours away from the main office. I loved the job. Open roads and great tunes, backbreaking labor that actually gave you pride in your work, and a fleet of some of the best men you could ever meet. I worked solo, and cell phones were not considered nearly as important as they are today. This one particular day, I was sent to a location that I had never even heard of. It was also about an hour and a half drive from the office. I had made the mistake of not fully charging my phone that day and did not carry a charger in the company truck. I thought the phone would last me long enough to do the job and get back, but I was wrong. I was literally in the middle of nowhere, fields as far as the eye could see, with random large farmhouses on massive lots dotted in between. It would usually take 2 to 3 hours to finish one property, and I only had two on my list. It was supposed to be an easy day. Halfway through finishing my last property, I had an issue with the tanks in the back of my truck. I decided to try and fix it instead of leaving the job half done, and before I knew it, another hour had passed. I managed to get the pumps working just enough to painstakingly finish the property. I was proud of myself for sticking out and knew my manager wouldn't care that I had taken a couple extra hours to complete it. I checked my phone to put in the coordinates back to the office, and it told me I was at 15%. I knew I had 20 minutes of battery power before it shut off. I decided to make another dumb attempt at independence, and instead of calling my manager to tell him the situation and write down the directions to get back, I put into my GPS the closest gas station. I figured I could get a charger and be on my way. The nearest gas station was 15 minutes away, down some winding back roads and into a tiny town. I asked the young girl at the register if she had a charger for my phone, but she did not. I asked her if she knew how to get back to insert town, and she did not. I asked her if anyone else was there to ask for directions. She said no. I started to panic a little, but not to worry. I still had about 5% battery, enough to admit defeat, call my manager, and ask for directions. The call went through, but the quality was poor at best. In the middle of my manager giving me directions, the phone died. I thought I knew what he said, but apparently I heard pretty much the opposite of what he told me. I started driving, gaslit myself into believing I knew where I was, and took turns that I should not have, and ended up nowhere. At this point, it was starting to get dark, and I was starting to get worried. Eventually, I saw a group of people standing outside of this big farmhouse. The company drove into my head that we are not to park our trucks on driveways because of leaks, so I instinctively parked on the shoulder and walked down the long path towards the house. As I approached, I saw some of the most redneck people I've ever seen in my life. I live in the country, but those people were country. As soon as I got close to them, I tried to get their attention, but they were all talking so loud that no one heard me. There had to have been about 15 people or more, including children of all ages, that were running around frantically screaming, while the adults tried to figure out who was driving with who. As soon as I got into arm's reach, this towering woman grabbed me by the arm and showed me towards a man with no teeth and Coke bottle glasses. The woman then grabbed another person and pushed him into me and said, "Okay, you can go with them." In all the chaos, I found myself being herded toward a minivan. People looked confused to see me but said nothing. Maybe I was just some long lost relative that no one had seen for a while. When I got to the door of the van, the woman finally turned to me and said, "Who the heck are you?" I just froze like a deer in headlights. I stuttered and said I was lost and I was just looking for directions, and then frantically pointed at my truck on the road and said I work for blank company and I got lost and I'm just trying to find my way back to blank town. She laughed. A big, hearty laugh that was so contagious that I couldn't help but laugh with her. And as I was walking, she called me back and gave me a couple of candy bars for the road. I thanked them again, and after 15 hours, I finally managed to get back to my office. My manager was slumped over his desk and the office was dark. When I knocked, he jumped out of his seat and ran over to me. I made a joke about how he was worried about me, and he just shook his head and looked at his watch. He said without hesitation, "No, I can't leave until everyone comes back. I am tired. I didn't want to wait anymore. So let's go." This was by far the best job I ever had. Unfortunately, the pay wasn't sustainable after a couple of years. And they give cheers to Scott and then they end it. So yeah,
Okay.
that's the end of the story.
So, like, when did they get almost abducted? Like with the candy bar? What?
Um, I mean, they don't make it clear.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that was the only part of the story where it's like,
It's like clickbait. Like,
Mhm.
ooh, the time I almost was abducted, and like they gave you like a candy bar, like you were lost. You asked for directions. I don't know.
yeah,
Mackenzie, Pedro, thoughts?
Yeah, it's remind me of a lot of, those YouTube stories,
Yeah,
clickbait over there. Yeah.
yeah.
That is true. It's a
Sometimes
canon
TikTok
event.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm yeah, but thankfully this person seems like they were okay in the end. They said 15 hours that it took them to go like what from like that house to their office.
yeah.
How far
Wow.
is that? I couldn't imagine driving for that long. I assume they're driving.
Yeah, I assume that because they're driving a truck, and with a truck you
Uh,
kind of have to drive
oh yeah,
everywhere.
they did say truck. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I think it definitely like even though this was 2015, I feel like it definitely was relatable to me because
hmm
if it shows like how much we use like our phones and stuff to
Yeah.
do things, and when you don't have your phone, you kind of have to do it the old-fashioned way, and that could be a little bit
Yeah.
confusing and hard sometimes. So
Just a final thought before we wrap up here. Like I remember more than once hearing of stories where um I'll just say people got violent because people got lost onto their property. Uh and unfortunately did certain things. And there's been a lot of cases of something like that happening. So, but thankfully, it seems like that didn't happen here. So that's good.
yeah,
All right. Well, it is almost 10 o'clock here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Morning Buzz. The Thursday crew will be with you tomorrow. Morning Buzz airs Monday through Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. during the summer. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app, our website, WMSCradio.com, also 90.3 FM in the Montclair area. Yeah, and Wednesday crew will be back next week on Wednesday. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening and goodbye. Bye.
Hey, you're listening to 90.